Dun, 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 dun. I'm so excited. I love football. I love knitting. I love crochet. I love football. Do you know, this little side note about me, my brother, I mean, I was very athletic growing up, and my brother, he was the only boy, but he always wanted to go play football outside. And so I learned how to throw a football so I could play catch with my brother. And to this day, if you ask my boys who's a better like football player, they'll between me and John, they'll say mom. They're like, mom throws the ball like nobody's business. Like I've been at games before, like throwing the football back and forth with one of the kids. Like one of the kids is on the field and another kid's like, let's throw the ball, mom. And I'll have other parents be like, I see you, bird. I see you. You know, like I love it. I think it's amazing. I love football. Anyways, hey everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to Inspiration Station. I am Marley Bird, your By Crafty bestie, and this is my bestie, Robin Chichula over here, and we are here to give you your pre-game warm-up, excited talk, all the things for the game day mystery make-along. Very excited.
Yeah.
Very
hey
excited.
Marley. Hey Marley.
Hi, how are you?
I'm ready. This is like our marathon, like it's the Super Bowl for the not sports people like me.
Exactly. Which is always so funny because you'll get people who are like, well, I would do your game day, but I'm not into sports. I'm like, you don't have to be. That's the beauty of it. I have been running Facebook ads for the first time, and I was like, play with yarn balls, not footballs. And so I was like, this is kind of fun. For those of you who don't know, this is our 7th annual Game Day Mystery Make-Along. It is a one-day event that from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Eastern Time, every hour there is a new play that is given for you. So you don't know what you're making. You just follow along with the instructions. And by 6 o'clock, you will know what you're making for sure. And you'll have a finished item. Ideally, like that's the plan. If you don't, if you're like get distracted by the chips and salsa and the guacamole, totally understandable. You have time to finish. It is there. So I know that we are on a time limit here, and I want everybody to know why we are in Inspiration Station. So if you don't know, this is my own area of my studio where I keep all of my hand-dyed yarns and such. It's also where I keep my winding station. And so what I plan on doing here is showing all of you how to wind a hank of yarn, because I know some of you, not only is it your first game day, it could be the first time you've ever purchased yarn from We Crochet or Knit Picks. It's the first time you've ever had a hank of yarn. And excuse me, I'm getting over bronchitis. Maybe you've never used a yarn swift or a yarn baller before. So I wanted to show you how to do that. So thanks, Robin, for putting me on full screen. So I'm going to jump behind the station here. So as you know, for this project, and those of you who don't know, the link to the game day event, including all the supplies, is in the video description box below. But this is the Heatherly yarn. You need one hank of 4 different colors of the Heatherly yarn if you're making the crochet project, okay? This is the Heatherly yarn. For the knit project, you need one hank of 3 different colors of the twill yarn. This is the twill yarn. Both yarns are lovely and beautiful. You actually could use the Heatherly for the twill project if you wanted. It's totally up to you. But what you want to do here is you want to turn this hank of yarn into a cake of yarn, okay? Now, you've probably seen it done before where people, you have somebody holding the hank of yarn on their hands and somebody else is winding it into a ball. You absolutely could do that. But if you have a yarn swift or an umbrella swift and a yarn ball winder, whether it's a heavy duty one or a less heavy duty one over here, you can create a hank of yarn. So what I want to do is I want to show you how you will wind up a hank of the Heatherly yarn. So I'm going to move this yarn out of the way so that it doesn't get distracting. And then Robin, I'm going to have you, as there are questions and stuff, I can't see them on mine. So I'm going to have you ask questions as I'm working along.
You got it so far. Nothing.
By the way, weren't you with me when I bought this?
No, but I think it's fantastic and I giggle every time I use it.
It's hilarious. It's my trash bin for all of my scraps. I love it. It just makes me laugh. Okay. All right, everybody. So when you have your hank of yarn, it is wound up. It's a flat piece of yarn that is twist it up. And what you will do, you'll notice that there is one end is just kind of tucked up underneath the other end. You just pop it out. Okay. And then what you will do here, you let it naturally just unwind itself. So now I have a loop of yarn. If I were to try to knit from this as it stands, I would get a hot mess, just so you know. But this is what I was talking about, where you've probably seen pictures of somebody standing like this and somebody else winding from the other end. We're essentially going to do that, but we're going to use the Swift to help us out. So once your yarn is like this, you want to grab a Swift. Now I use an umbrella Swift. There are also table Swifts. There's another kind of Swift that's vertical. It's pretty cool, but this is called an umbrella Swift because as it expands up, just like an umbrella. You guys see that? And all of these tools are available at We Crochet or Knit Picks at a very, very reasonable price, you guys. So I encourage you, if you end up liking these tools, this is a great place to get them. But you will take your hank of yarn and you drape it around the umbrella Swift, just like this. Try to make it so it's not twisted. It's just naturally lays on it. Then you pull up the Swift part so that it has tension on your yarn and tighten that up. Okay, it's at this point you want to locate not only the label, if you have a label on there, and take that off, but you will begin to see where the yarn is tied. So that way, when the yarn was dyed, that's when you have all these ties added on here. So you will undo the ties or you will cut the ties. You will notice one strand of yarn will usually come from the outside. One strand of yarn will come from the inside. Now, this one here, it looks like, oh, they're both from the outside. But as I wind around here, I can see this one is tucked under, it's underneath here. So what I would do is I like to try and grab the yarn that's coming from the outside. You can do either one. Side note, here on the Heatherly, that's the only tie here on the Heatherly. On the Twill, I had 2 ties. But you would cut your tie, and then you'll come over to your ball winder. Now your ball winder, depending if you have the heavy duty one or maybe yours looks like this one. This is a version of the kind you could get from Knit Picks or We Crochet. The whole idea here is you have the handle right here that winds, and this part here, as it rotates, it actually shifts back and forth to give you the shape of the cake, and you could go one direction or the other. This is your yarn feed. This tool here is virtually the same as this tool here. This one's just a lot more heavy duty, okay? So grab your yarn. There's a notch at the top of this tool. So if you look at this one here, you can see that there's like this notch here. That's where you would put your yarn to hold it in place. You guys see that? So I'm gonna do the same thing over here, right here. I thread it through the feeder, put it up here into the notch. Now my tool here has like an O-ring sort of looking thing. It's just a rubber ring. Place that on there, and I keep some tension from the yarn as it goes from the yarn Swift to the ball winder. And I start to wind mine up, and I go slow to begin with, and I make sure everything is lining up fine. Like make sure there's no accidental twist in here, because sometimes it can twist around, sometimes it can shift, like things can happen. It doesn't always come out nice and smooth, but I keep it slow to begin with, and then I find a nice rhythm, and I just keep going. Now, sometimes I will hang on to the yarn itself as it's winding, like right here, to feel if there are any knots, because sometimes if you're dealing with a hand-dyed yarn, it can have knots in it. Guys, knots are a thing of life when it comes to yarn. It's not the end of the world to have 1 or 2 knots in a skein of yarn. Is it annoying? Yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't mean it's a defective skein of yarn. So if you're very concerned about knots because maybe you're working on a project that has beads on it or something, the knots can hinder a bead pushing its way through the yarn, right, to go over the knot. So that would be something that you'd want to be very aware of. So you could find the knots preemptively. But you can see here, I'm just winding. I'm paying attention as I go. I know it's hard for you to see, but I'm looking at the yarn as it's getting balled up, and I can feel as I'm turning that nothing is slipping. And if you've ever wound a ball of yarn and had the yarn slip on it to where you can tell it's not going in the rhythm of the cake, it's slipping and all of a sudden you're just winding around like the base of the ball winder. That's perfectly normal and it happens a lot. If that happens to you, just pause, unwind some, try and manipulate the yarn itself to kind of get it back on track. You might have to go slow a little bit to get it back to where it's back into the correct rhythm. But once it's all done, you're good to go. Now, I will tell you with the twill yarn, because it is a little bit more slick than the Heatherly yarn, I did have more slippage on the twill yarn when I was winding it than the Heatherly. So that's something you do want to be aware of.
So Marley, real quick, I'm
yes.
going to pause you. Question came in about what kind of table should you use when you're attaching your Swift and your ball winder?
Oh, I mean, literally anything that you have available. Like I use a kitchen table, you could use a chair, anything that allows you to have your Swift expand out, right? Because as the yarn gets thinner, it wants to come up and expand out. So you want to make sure it has enough room there. And you want to make sure you have enough distance so that when it gets to the ball winder, you have some tension. I don't know if you noticed.
A sturdy table too. Like a card table isn't good
I'm
enough.
sorry.
Like a TV tray is not good enough.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
I want something heavy duty. And you'll notice, you can kind of see on Marley's Swift that it's expandable. So you can get like a thick table. Like my dining room table is like really thick. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to bring the phone in a little bit closer here so you can see here. So right here is where I had the yarn at the top of my piece. So I will undo that. Some people will then push this through so that it feeds out the other end of the cake ball. I don't like to do that. I actually just kind of hold it there. So what will happen is I'm going to pull this cake up. I can't
do it one-handed.
There we are. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so I will usually put my thumb right here. I'm taking my hands, I'm coming underneath the cake and I'm just pulling it up. And I just make sure I have that little bit left right there. And then the outside, wind it some. And then what I do is I wind it around just like so, and then tuck that in just like so. So now I have a center pull ball, but you can see here, see how all of the centrifugal areas, like they stayed in place. What I meant by the slippage, like with this one, you can see there's some of those stranded ones there. Those kind of slipped out of line. So I had to play with that a little bit. But this is what it looks like when you cake up a hank of yarn into a cake. There are some people who will like to double cake. So they'll finish this like this, and then they'll wind this into another cake. What that does is it allows the yarn to relax a little bit more from being so wound up because we put so much tension from the Swift onto the ball winder. If you are somebody who's making sure that maybe you have a garment that you need to make sure you're not putting extra tension on one cake versus another cake, and that's a real concern because of the yarn you're using, you definitely want to wind that cake up again. So honestly, all you would do, I would pull from the center. Don't pull from the outside, pull from the center. Hook it up to your ball winder again and just start winding it. And just let the natural tension, as this is maybe on the ground or something, wind up to your ball, and then you'll have a nice second round pull of cake. All right. Yes, I took the O-ring off. Like the O-ring, literally, it's just to, so you can see here, it was just to hold that first initial bit of yarn on there. You don't even need it, but it came with my piece, and so I always use it. But that is how you would use this piece. And you just want to wind up all of your hanks of yarn so that way you're ready to go for a game day, or if you're using a already wound ball of yarn, you can use that as well. Jen P is asking, does it matter which direction based on the twist of the yarn? No. We're not putting any added twist or undoing any twist as we wind the yarn into a cake. So that does not matter at all. Does not matter at all. All right, Robin, I'm going to head back over to my actual desk. But are there any other questions right here about any of this? There's a lot of fun things here, you guys. Did you notice this is last year's game day right up there hanging on?
Marley has quite the beautiful studio back there. We all can be a little jealous.
I don't get over here nearly enough. I need to get over here more. It's fun. All right. If you're ready, I'm going to head over to the other part of the studio and we can start discussing the free event and what it all entails.
All right.
You guys good? All right, here we go.
Well, everybody. So why we're talking about this? Because the main goal for today is the only thing that you need to have done before you start are your cakes. Obviously, if you're using the yarn that we're using, you want it to have these already done, because when you think about like game day, we're starting at 8 and going all the way to 6. You want your materials done. So we have a couple other videos if you want to see some more like up close and personal. You will be able to do that as well. But yeah, that the main thing you need to do before Sunday is get your yarn and wind them up. Now that Marley is back, I'm going to add her. She's taking
We both,
like Marley said, no.
we added each other at the same time.
Yeah.
All right.
But real quick, Marley, let's talk about substitution. So if you did not get Twill or Heatherly, because obviously even if you order today, it's not going to be here
It's not going
tomorrow.
to get there in time.
What is some options? Like, what are some things that you would recommend
From the store?
Well, not even from the store, but like, just what should they look out for? What is this yarn? What should they look for?
Okay, so I'll talk for the knit version. You talk for the crochet. When it comes to the knit one, honestly, you really could use anything. We are doing color work, and that's all I'm going to tell you at this point. But you could use a tweed, you could use a slicker like Karen Simply Soft, or you could use a more woolly type yarn like Peyton's Classic Wool. The one thing I would hesitate to get is any sort of variegated color. It will hide any of the details or texture that you're going to be adding to your piece. So when it comes to the knit one, you're okay if yours comes out a little bit smaller because you can fix that. And you're okay if it comes out a little bit bigger so you can fix that. So gauge isn't terribly important when it comes to the knit version. I'll let you talk about the crochet.
All right, so the crochet version. In both these cases, our yarn is a worsted weight, but like worsted weight is a huge range. This is on the lighter side of the range. So if you're, if you look at your ball bands and you're comparing, you can go onto the website and click to see like what they have, what their gauge is and all like the range for that. And you can compare that to what is on a ball band at the store. We're on the light end. That's where we are. We're on the light end. For me, I have a very muted color palette. So for me, you don't need to have your colors to be super contrasty. Like you would for knitting. You definitely need that for knitting. For crochet, you don't. The other things you want to look for is I wouldn't go for anything that has like thick, thin texture. I'd make it all solid. I personally wouldn't go for anything that has tweedy texture in it because, again, it would kind of hide what we're doing, because I don't want to say what we're doing, but it would hide it.
Yeah, it would work, but it would hide it.
It would work. It would be fine, but it would hide it. Like think of like classically doing crochet. That's what we're doing on game day. We're doing some classic crochet stitches. The other thing is I don't really care too much about what fiber you're using. Ours is a wool blend. Marley's is all wool. It's stunning. If you end up working with it, you guys are in for a great day.
It's so lovely to knit with. It's so great.
It's very lovely. But for mine, you could definitely substitute something that's not wool. I would recommend you go away from a total cotton, just because the way that wool hangs and the way that plants hang, like cotton hangs, is very different. So like wool is like a naturally bouncy and it kind of wants to bounce up. And cotton wants to drape long, and sometimes that's okay and sometimes that's not. But I know the stitches that you're doing, and the cotton won't be your friend. Now, if it's like a cotton blend, it's like blended with acrylic where the acrylic will act as the bounce, you probably can get away with that. But you don't want it to be
Like
100%.
Lily's cotton, sugar and cream, whatever. You don't
You're
want
just
that.
you'll do it, but you're not going to be happy with the
You will
result.
not like it.
You're not going to like it. If you have to choose, I would just go for, if you have to choose a non-wool, go for 100% acrylic. Get a nice acrylic.
Mhm.
That will work well. Don't get a heavy acrylic. Make sure it's like a nice one,
Yeah.
and you'll be fine.
Cool. All right, you ready to jump into details?
Let's go details. And just remember, everybody, go to the blog post. It has all the nitty gritty details of all the bits of the yarn. So you can find every little last thing that you need. We want to make sure that we just keep saying, go there, because that's where you're going to go.
That's where you're going to go. All right, everybody. As we've mentioned, this is a free event. It's a free game day mystery make along, meaning you don't know what you're making. So you're just going along for the ride. That's not your cup of tea for some people. Totally understand that. You can wait until Monday. But as you're going along and working on the plays and encouraging other people and sharing your work in progress, it should be exciting. It should be something that we're not doing like Debbie Downer or, oh, I'm so upset we're doing cables. Newsflash, it's not cables.
No,
but I
we
mean,
can say
this
that.
is exciting. You are accepting the fact this is a mystery and we are going in to have fun. So what will happen? Here's how it works. You will wake up on Sunday morning, bright and shiny and happy and all the good things. Whether you're on the East Coast or on the West Coast, it's up to you whether you want to start exactly at 8 a.m. Okay, you can start at any point in the day as you want. But the plays will begin to be released at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Now, what does that mean? You are going to go to that blog post, the one that's at the bottom of the screen, the one that you went to for the supplies, the one that you went to for all the details. Everything is in that same blog post. You will scroll all the way to the bottom. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Scroll all the way to the bottom. It is a long post. Keep scrolling. They are there.
Yeah, we give lots of information. So
lots of information. So when you scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see that there are times for 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, so on and so forth. And in there, it'll say crochet play or knitting play. And as those hours come to be, the link for that hour's instructions will be added. So you go to that blog post, scroll down to the hour you're looking for, click the link. That takes you to another page. That page will have the play for that hour. If there is a video that is connected to that play, it will be attached to that set of instructions. Now I'm going to pause here and mention, because we are on YouTube, the first play of the Game Day Mystery Make Along will be available here on YouTube. But YouTube doesn't like it when you release a whole bunch of videos in one day. It actually starts to penalize you. So all of the additional videos will be elsewhere and they will be linked with your instructions. So I don't want you to freak out. Oh my gosh, it's not on YouTube. There's not a video. Chances are there is a video and it will be with your instructions. You'll be able to find them. Now, meaning when I said chances are, if there is a need or a requirement for a video, meaning you're learning something new or you want to clarify something or whatever it is, we absolutely add a video. But if it's a repeat of something you've done in the past, it makes no sense to do the same video.
Or it's something you already know, because keep in mind, if we're doing a video, it's taken away from your time to stitch.
Yes.
So sometimes there won't be a video because you already know the information that you need. You already have the skills.
Yeah.
And we don't want to take away any of your stitching time.
Yeah. Speaking of the stitches, we purposely timed ourselves making these pieces ourselves. And I will tell you, the first couple hours that you're working on it, it goes a little slow because you're learning something new, right? You either are watching a video or you're learning how to hold your yarn a certain way, or you're learning how to make a particular stitch. So your body's learning. But I will tell you, as you continue on throughout the day, it gets a lot faster. So what I mean there is at the 8 o'clock hour, maybe you don't finish until 10 o'clock. You're like, I'm never going to finish. Just keep going. You'll be fine. I promise. Give yourself some grace. You will get it.
Yeah.
It gets better.
It definitely, it ramps.
Yes.
And with the crochet project, it ramps up. It is definitely a bell curve in like how much you're stitching. So you're stitching the most in the middle of the day, but by then you don't need to, it's less learning that you need to do. So like it flows really nicely is what
for the knitting. It's so easy. Guys, I've made 3 of the samples because I have truly enjoyed working these stitches, using the yarn. Like it's a purely enjoyable Zen knit for me. I loved it.
Like the one little clue that we'll give for both of these is we on purpose chose things that show the natural beauty of each craft. So with crochet, it shows what crochet really truly is. And with knitting, it really highlights all the beauty that knitting can do. So the whole point is it's fun. And there's nothing that's like astronomically.
There's nothing super hard.
New.
I
did not do anything super weird.
No, we're saving that for Tournament of Stitches. That's a whole nother ballgame. So anyways, just know our goal here is to give you instructions full of written instructions, charted instructions, diagrammed instructions, video instructions, everything that you need to complete something. And if you don't finish it in one day, that's okay. I mean, we all knit at different levels or crochet at different speeds. So it's absolutely all right. So just to recap, go to that blog post, scroll to the bottom, find the hour that you're looking for those instructions, click the link and go to those instructions. Now, I will tell you, all of these instructions are going to remain on the website for free until the end of February, meaning you have until the end of February to get all of these instructions for free. Or you could always upgrade to the MVP package, which includes the ad-free PDF with all the instructions in one nice little kit and caboodle, and it's beautiful. So before I get to the MVP, I want to keep going with the free. Along with the instructions on the website, as you're working along, remember, this is a community, right? We aren't like team crochet, team knitting, even though we kind of are, but it's not like we're competitive. So we have the Marley's Minions Facebook group. And before you tell me you don't do Facebook, I understand, but I'm just letting you know, it's the easiest place for us to gather everybody. And so it's not because we don't like anything else. It's the easiest thing for us to use. So the Marley's Minions Facebook group, you can go there every hour. As soon as we release the play, we also release a new thread. And that means like the 8 a.m. crochet questions or work in progress pictures. 8 a.m. questions for knitting question. You know what I mean? There's one for crochet, one for knitting for every hour. That's important. If you're following along and you have a question about the 8 o'clock hour, you want to make sure you ask that question in the 8 o'clock hour for crochet or 8 o'clock hour for knitting. That makes it easier for us to know where you are in the pattern, makes it easier for us to answer your question. And as you're sharing your progress in that hour, only share the progress for that hour. So you're not ruining the mystery for anybody else. Does that make sense? So,
that's pretty, I mean, it sounds pretty simple to understand, but it's pretty important because what happens is it also can be confusing if you're posting about like the 12 o'clock hour in 8 a.m. hour. It's really easy to confuse other people who are trying to figure out what's happening. So just, it takes a little bit of practice to find what thread to post in, but they're always,
we pin them.
They're always located at the top. You don't have to scroll through all of Facebook in the group. It's at the top, but
we have an option to pin.
You'll get good at it.
So each one we pin for sure. So yeah, I know it might seem like it's a little tedious, but it makes it easier for us to help you for sure. So that is one of the most important things. So if you're trying to post to the group and it's something that needs to go in a thread, the moderators will decline your post and they'll leave you feedback, say, hey, can you post this in the appropriate thread? So it's not that we don't want to answer your question. We want to answer your question, but that's how we're going to get you the best answers. Plus, that allows all of the participants to help each other, right? To encourage each other to do all the things.
Why partake? Why would you want to help somebody?
Well, we love giving away prizes. So we have two ways that our prizes are going to be offered. We have prizes that are set up with a King Sumo, where you would enter for a chance to win prizes from some of our favorite vendors. But then there's also participation prizes that are selected by our moderators and our testers and contractors. They are going to be in these threads, excuse me, to help answer questions and give encouragement and such. But they're also looking at the comments and who is helping and who is being encouraging and who is, a rah-rah-ree. And so we will randomly select people to win participation prizes as well. And you only get that inside the Marley's Minions.
That's what makes this event really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you can't join on the day, or you won't be able to knit or crochet with us, you can just join by commenting on everybody's progress pic and be like, I love that yarn.
Yeah,
I love what
exactly.
you're doing there.
Exactly.
Oh, I wouldn't think of that. And it was like giving all that inspiration and love and joy to other people.
Right.
It's
good.
It's fun.
So all of that is the free game day. All right. So all of that is available for free. It's also available to the Marley Birdhouse MVP package people. So I have 7 minutes here. Yeah. MVP package. This is something that we started last year, that if you are somebody who wants to preemptively purchase the pattern and have everything available to you inside the Marley Birdhouse, you can become an MVPer. You could buy the knitting MVP or the crochet MVP. Both of them include a $10 Ravelry coupon to spend in the Marley Bird Ravelry store. So right off the bat, you're getting $10 back to spend in my Ravelry store, depending on which one you buy, right? You both get $10. You buy both, you have $20. Right. You also will have each of the play automatically added into your Marley Birdhouse. So they are not going to be added all at the same time on day one. You have to wait each hour, just like everybody else. It keeps the fun, you guys. It just makes it easier all the way around. And you're just as excited. It's just, you don't have to go to the website. So the videos will be in there for you. The instructions are already in there for you. And then at the end of the day, the ad-free PDF is already available to you. And then we are announcing right now, there's also the halftime live Q&A with Robin and myself at 2:15, I think it is. So you can come and ask questions and such. And then we're announcing right now for the first time that we are adding some bonus patterns that incorporate what you will be learning in the game day, but in a whole nother design. And those will be available on Wednesday. We don't want to give them away too soon because we don't want to spoil anything.
We don't want to spoil the surprise for everybody.
Yeah.
So there will be additional things. So it's one of those things, you fall in love with what you're doing. Oh, what else could I do with this?
It's exactly.
Us.
It's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's not just buying an MVP package for one pattern and a coupon. You're getting additional patterns. You're getting a Q&A, a live Q&A, and you never know what else we might throw in. You just never know. Last but not least, if you go and purchase the MVP package, you are given an option to also purchase the labels, commemorative labels. That is not your only chance to buy those. I just want to let you know that is available. Those are $6. And if you have already purchased your MVP and you didn't get those, but you want those now, they are available inside my Shopify store. Now in Shopify, you can buy more than one. You could buy two. If you buy MVP, you can only add one to each MVP, which makes sense at the same time. Like if you want one for knitting, one for crochet, and you bought crochet MVP and knit MVP, you have the option to have both. So those are brand new. It's free shipping. They're $6 a piece. We sold out of the first run. We did an emergency second run. Those are so cute. We did an emergency second run that I should have in-house here today or tomorrow. That's the goal. And then I will have them all shipped out by Monday. But once these are gone, they're gone. Like we sold out of 200 of those in 4 days. So just heads up, guys. If you want one, go grab one right now. I'm going to grab the link to the Shopify store. Is there anything else I'm missing before I have to go?
No, I think we hit it all. So just to recap, everybody, you know, we're just happy that you're joining us for this ride.
Yes.
It's a true ride. It's a true Super Bowl of just stitching. And mysteries are tough because you don't know what direction you're going in. You have no idea what you're making. There's so many if this, if that. Let's just put it this way. We built that in. It's built in that, don't worry. As long as you grabbed a worsted weight yarn or something close, you
should be good.
You're going to be great.
We want you to have fun. We want everybody to succeed. And regardless, if it's something that you don't want, somebody in your life will want it.
Yeah, I can guarantee you on both of the projects, this can be a really easy gift. Think of any gift that you have coming up, you can very easily gift this.
I will say that the second sample I made of mine, Caden has already requested one. Yes. He has requested one so that he can wear it at school as he walks to classes.
Very cute.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I love that, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's good enough for a college.
Again, if you've missed everything you need is on the blog post. So in years past, you could come here to YouTube and get what you need. Do not do that. Mm-mm. Go to the blog post. Everything you need is in the blog post.
Right.
And the
show of hands, how many here? How many people? Is this your first game day or is this your 7th? Because this is the 7th. This is the 7th.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I think so many people here.
The last thing is the bingo cards, Marley.
Oh, the bingo cards. That's so fun. Bingo card is for everybody. And that's the thing that you will do during the game. So if you haven't picked up on this, you're doing the game day event before the Super Bowl. So you're not interfering your chance to cheer for the 49ers or Taylor's team. Go Chiefs. You have a choice of what, you can do whatever you want. But during the game, there's a chance for you to play bingo. So we have created bingo cards that you can download, and it's random stuff. I keep making the joke that maybe it's a State Farm commercial or it's a first down. And so you will play bingo. If you win bingo, you will send an email to our customer service team and you will win a free pattern. So there's another chance for you to win without actually knitting or crocheting.
Right.
Yeah. It's just a lot of fun.
It's just something fun that we all can do together.
Yeah.
I'm so happy hearing everybody's first, 7th, first.
There's so many.
I love it.
Exciting. Here we go. Cindy Wood. This is her 7th. So Cindy was here when we broke my website. The same with JC. She was here. I mean, man, that was an adventure. And Aida, hi, baby. How are you doing? I just called you baby. I don't know why I called you baby. I'm sorry. And Julia. Hi, Julia. I am so excited that so many people are participating in this. Oh my gosh, it's the first mystery. I hope you love it. I like mysteries. I think they're fascinating.
This is not my thing. I would stress out.
You're not the only one. Every year there are people who are like, yeah, I can handle it. And by play 4, they're like, no, I'm going to wait until 7:00.
No, I would totally wait until noon and then start it.
I mean, luckily we have lovely testers who have tested the patterns and hopefully, knock on wood, caught all of the mistakes we might have or just little flubs. But I know there are people who will wait 2 or 3 hours to start to make sure that other people catch any mistakes so they don't get caught up in it, which is just a little piece of advice. I would not print the instructions immediately just in case. You never know. And if we have to fix anything, we do let you know in the instructions, hey, at this hour, this was adjusted so that way if you need to look, you can see.
Mhm.
But again, knock on wood, there are no hiccups, no mistakes, no nothing.
No.
I'm very excited.
Oh, last thing,
Yeah.
MVP. So MVP will be available to purchase for quite a
Yes.
while. So like
Oh,
if you're like me and you're like, I'm waiting, I'm gonna wait
however,
and
the
then I'm gonna
price.
purchase. But like, what's the whole thing, Marley?
Yes. So I'm so glad you brought that up. So we have MVP at a low price of $20 right now. So it's $20 for knitting, $20 for crochet. On Sunday morning, that price does go up. So right now, as you're like, all right, I'm in for this mystery, you are paying the lowest price it will be. On Sunday, that price does increase. So if you want the game day MVPs after that, you will be paying more money. Not a huge amount, but it is a little bit more money because the mystery is no longer there. So you're buying into the mystery. So the MVP package will be going back into the vault at the end of February as well. So the MVP package goes away and the free pattern is removed from the website. That does not mean if you bought the MVP, it goes away. Once it's in your birdhouse, it's there. You have unlimited access anytime you want. Like that's the beauty of the Marley Birdhouse. A lot of you are in here who are Birdhouse members. Like it's awesome. But it means that the ability to purchase the MVP package will not be available. It'll be in the vault. Think of like the Disney in the vault when they put different movies in the vault and then they'll released from the vault. That's what it is. Mhm.
So yes, everything will stay the same in the MVP package. You still get the bonus patterns. You still get
Mhm.
the Ravelry coupon. You still get everything.
Mhm.
It's just that on Sunday, the price goes up.
Yep. What is she? Yeah, if you've already purchased it, anything that we're adding now, you are getting.
Yep.
Everything's in there. Everything is inside your Marley Birdhouse. I feel like there was something I was just gonna say. Marley Birdhouse. Last but not least, if you like mystery make-alongs like this, we've done several of them over the years. And for the first time last year, we did not do Tournament of Stitches because we were rebuilding the Marley Bird website, which if you go to the new blog, take a second and go look around the website because there's a lot of really great features. The search feature for pattern, like there's just so much. Like we were spending our time last year doing that. This year, Tournament of Stitches is returning. And so we're hoping we can get information about that next week or early the following week, because for the first time ever, there are kits available for purchase. So you're buying a mystery kit again, but you will know that you're making a shawl. Like that, we can tell you you're making a shawl with this yarn. You just don't know what it is. Yeah. So that will be coming soon. So just be aware. Last but not least, during the MVP, or if you're part of the MVP package, excuse me, I did set up a couple of different emails that are going to be sent to you throughout the event during the day. So make sure you check those emails because there might be something special in there for you. And then as you are participating with the game day, make sure you are also registered for a game day. Again, all that information is in that blog. Just you'll see where it says register here. Make sure you're registered with your email address, like your real email address, because again, there are some emails that are going to be sent out. You definitely want to open them and check them out. The first one will definitely be, hey, we're getting started. Make sure you go get the clue. And I'm not telling you any others, but make sure you do register. Okay, that's it for me. I have a very, very important meeting that I have to go to. If you're a praying type, pray for me, please. I need all the good juju I could possibly get.
And she muted herself, which I find very funny.
How the heck did I do that?
I don't know, but it was pretty funny.
That's weird.
You're like, yay! And I'm out. That's it.
So I was just gonna say, I can't wait to see all of you on Sunday. If you are joining in, make sure you share like what yarn you're using, what colors and all that inside the Marley's Minions group. You could post about that right now. Like we're having so much fun seeing everybody's colors. It's a lot of fun. And then on Sunday, when you have questions, make sure you go to the particular thread to ask those questions, to be encouraging to others, to share your work in progress. It's just, I love this event. I have such a good time doing it.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's a fun one. All right.
All right.
I'm gonna let everybody
That's it
go.
from us, everybody. Okay. See you on Sunday. Don't forget, that's the post. That's the post. Bye. Oh, I gotta take her to water. Did you get it?